We're recording.
We're
Make sure
recording?
not to hold the mic too close.
Like here?
I don't know. Where did you have it?
I think I had it like around here.
Okay.
Can we make sure this makes it into the show?
Yeah. This is a good question because I asked Jesse this, I think maybe.
Wait, the show started?
Yes.
Okay.
Where's
Where's the theme song?
I added it into every episode.
But we don't get to hear it when we're recording the show.
No.
Okay, that's kind of a bummer. Where'd you find that theme song? I guess that's my first question to you. Is it a stock
first
image
of all,
song? Stock song?
I was gonna go over the bloopers, but you did ask a good question about what did you just ask?
I don't know, dude.
My ADHD is like a little.
Yeah, today I actually got diagnosed with ADHD. We were just having a random conversation, and then Alexis is like, "Yeah, you have ADHD."
Yeah, I said you do too.
Yeah. Out of nowhere, this woman is a medical doctor.
Okay, so where did I get the song from? I listened through a lot of the songs through Anchor. They have some that you can just select.
Shout out Anchor.
And
do you want to do the commercial now?
So I think I'm gonna start doing commercials sometime this year.
Okay, the only commercial on Anchor is one for Anchor.
Yeah, I think there's other ones though, but it depends.
Okay,
so I'm gonna probably start doing that.
All
maybe.
right. Also, I'm gonna stop interrupting you because this is your podcast.
So I can get 50 cents per episode.
50 cents in a year.
Hey, that adds up.
Hey, dude, you could buy half a gumbo.
Gumbo or gumball?
I said gumball.
Okay.
Where can I get gumbo for 50 cents,
Gumbo's
dude?
not cheap.
Gumbo.
Okay, so the bloopers. I was going to say, I asked Jesse this a couple weeks ago, and I said, what do you think about me keeping in some of these bloopers? Because I do like to keep in some of these bloopers in these episodes. I think it's funny when I'm listening to them and editing, and then I'm like, I'm going to keep it. I like it, and I don't know if other people like it, but I love it. But I enjoy it.
It humanizes the podcast.
Right?
Yeah, it does.
And I find it funny. There was this one episode I did with my cousin.
Shout out your cousin.
And, I have plenty of cousins.
Oh, I thought it was the cousin I know.
And several cousins have already done an episode. But,
all of the guests on your podcast so far have just been your cousins.
Yeah. different versions.
Yeah. I'm actually your cousin too, so.
Yeah. So I was just telling him, don't say it, because we had to restart because Kobe was making noise.
I mean, he's making noises right now too. You just can't hear them that close.
Yeah, so
he's right next to me.
So I had to restart into a conversation or something like that happened where I had to set everything.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do is I just pick up where we were last talking.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, so this is how we're going to start it. So that way when I edit it, it blends in nicely.
Yeah.
So I was coaching him. I was like, say it like this and start the conversation like this. So that way when I edit it and cut everything out, it sounds like nothing happened and it's a good transition.
Right.
And he wasn't getting it. He was literally talking like I was telling him to say something.
I mean, I really don't understand what you just said either, so I feel
okay, so I told him, I said, start the conversation.
Okay.
And say, oh, yeah, and that was another thing that...
Oh, I see what you're trying to do. Yeah.
So that way it's a little more seamless.
Yeah.
And then he was like, okay, yeah, and that is he's talking robotic and
right.
Somebody's
if he was on fucking K-Rock.
holding a gun to his head and he's so I was telling him and he wasn't getting it. I was like, forget it, I'm just gonna do it, and then I'm just gonna edit it the way I want it.
Yeah.
Then I was listening to it and I was like, this actually is really funny that he couldn't get it right. So
it makes it funny.
So I'm going to keep it in there. And I'm going to keep the coaching in.
So what was the feedback on that? From the audience? Did the audience enjoy it as well?
I didn't get any feedback on it.
Okay, so.
Which is why I'm asking.
Let us know wait, what's the handle for this show?
I don't have a handle for this
show.
Okay,
at Alexis Wildcard.
Although I did open an Instagram for this podcast, but not because I wanted to use it. It was more just because, like, if any of you bitches take my name, I'm gonna.
Yeah, like when we registered.
Shut up.
We're not talking about that.
I wish like I had like a soundboard where I can bleep out things.
That would have been something you would have bleeped out. Huh?
That would have been something I would bleep out, and it would have allowed you to say who's.
Can you just do an audio beep? Like we both know who it is,
right?
So we can say it's like when we registered the beep. Wait, we're supposed to do it at the same time, but
I was a little lost. Anyway,
but yeah, so basically, long story short, we registered a few domain names that we probably shouldn't have. Wait,
because
is that going to get cut out?
Because somebody pissed us off.
Yeah, that's what we do for vengeance. I want to tell a story real quick. I know I'm like hijacking.
No, I was pretty well. Okay, what do you think about the bloopers? So you like?
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep doing the bloopers then.
But talking about revenge, real quick.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm like taking over the conversation right now. I feel bad.
Why?
I just want to say the story about revenge.
Why do you feel bad?
Okay, so I want everyone who's listening to this podcast to sign an NDA before you hear this story. So if you can go to...
Are you explaining
why you feel bad, or are you
just moving on with the story?
I'm moving on with the story here.
Why do you feel bad? I'm curious.
Feel bad about what?
You said I'm interrupting and taking over the conversation.
Oh, because this is your podcast, so you should be like interviewing me, and I shouldn't be like, hijacking.
There's no rules to it. It's a conversation.
Okay.
So.
And I like to sidetrack. I'm like.
Yeah,
you know me.
Because you have ADHD.
Yeah, as I learned today for the first time in my life, I've never guessed or thought about
It's weird that you've never thought about that.
Yeah.
Because you clearly have signs of
I'm
ADHD.
being seriously pod.com.
Yeah.
Sign the NDA and, I'll be able to tell the story. So go ahead and sign the NDA. Okay. Let's say you signed it. So the other day I went to Sequoia with my friend.
The other day you just casually went to Sequoia?
Basically, yeah. It was like 2 weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
Shout out my friend Nicole. Who's a news reporter for like Cal Matters or whatever. That's the name of the organization. So
you're doing a lot of shout outs today, aren't you?
I love doing shout outs on the pod. All right, I'm going to shout someone out. Actually, no, I'm not allowed to. I wanted to shout out my friend Michael.
Okay.
Because he listens to the pod. Wait, closer? Oh, farther away.
You're shouting, literally.
So anyway, I was going to Sequoia and my friend lives in Bakersfield.
You're going with Michael?
No, I was going with my friend Nicole.
Okay.
So I was supposed to wake up at 6 and I woke up like before my alarm. So I woke up at like 4.
Yeah.
And I was just laying there.
Because you don't sleep.
Because I don't sleep.
Right.
This is something that's always been going on.
Yes.
So I drive to Bakersfield, meet up with my friend. It's like, an hour and a half? Then we go to Sequoia. It's like another hour and a half, 2 hours. We go on a hike. We do the Sequoia things. Then out of nowhere, like a hailstorm happens, which is crazy in the middle of August. Did you guys
stay in Sequoia?
We did a day trip.
Okay. What
a waste. Like Sequoia's so beautiful. Like I felt so bad not staying there like longer.
Yeah.
But okay,
you did a whole drive. We drove to Bakersfield one time and I was like, don't talk to me. The whole way
Our
there.
friendship ended because of that trip. We were so exhausted. We're like, I want to come back to that because we should talk about the Starbucks thing. See, I think you made
Yeah.
We should talk about that. Yeah. Because I think that's actually a good conversation topic that we could talk about.
Sure.
So anyway, it's like a whole ass trip. It's a whole ass trip.
Or maybe just lower it. I know. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. It's a whole ass trip.
Yeah.
Right? And so I leave Bakersfield at like 8 p.m., get back here at 10:30.
Right.
And I pull up to my parking lot and there's a guy at the gate for like the resident parking. And he's like, oh, the gate's broken, but I see that you live here. So you're good. You can go park in your spot because I have a reserved spot.
Right.
I pay a lot of money for this reserved spot. It's like $150 a month for parking here. Right. And so I go to my spot and lo and behold, someone's parked in my spot. And I'm like, Really frustrated,
Yeah, this
right?
was after your trip.
After my trip, I just wanted to park. And here's the other thing, because they opened this fucking Buffalo Wild Wings. Shout out Buffalo Wild Wings.
Right.
That's another shout out.
Mm-hmm.
The whole first floor, all the parking was taken up, so I
Wow.
couldn't just like park on the first floor. I had no parking. I get home, there's no parking.
That's so silly that they wouldn't divide the tenant parking from the restaurant parking.
They do, but the gate wasn't working that night. So someone who went to fucking Buffalo Wild Wings was like, hey, I'm going to go park in this random guy's spot. And I'm like, all right, whatever.
Did you tell the guy to tow the car? I'm all about towing.
No, because they don't tow here.
What?
They're full of shit. Fuck this place.
Okay.
Anyway. So I take matters into my own hands. I had a leftover Greek food plate. Like I had some like scraps of Greek food. And I had like a giant soda that I got on the road.
Is this the story about the vandalism?
Yeah.
Excited
so I got the fucking food and I threw it on the windshield of this car. And I also got the soda and dumped it on the car to leave my mark. Yeah. You know, like most people, this actually happened yesterday. I went down a lot.
This happened.
No, this didn't happen yesterday. No. I'm saying yesterday. This is what civilized people do. I'm giving a comparison, right? Okay. Civilized people leave a note on the car.
Yeah.
That just says, like yesterday I saw one because somebody parked in someone's spot and it just says like, oh, you parked in my spot. Please, can you vacate this spot so I can park my car? Thank you.
Are you saying you're not civilized?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Got it.
But anyway, so I did that and I thought I got away with it.
Oh,
right?
Shit.
Like I was like, okay, whatever. Like it's no big deal. It's just a little bit of food, a little bit of drink.
You wasted some food though.
They were olives in my defense. There were some olives involved, and as you know, I'm not a huge olives fan.
Okay.
1 week later, okay, I walked through the front lobby, and the doorman that you saw today that I introduced you to,
right?
I said, you know, hey man, what's going on? He's like, hey bro, by the way, I know what you did. But he's like, you're lucky I'm your homie because I'm not going to tell anyone.
How does he know he saw the cameras?
Yeah, because this building is like in kind of a sketch area, so every part of the building has cameras. Mm-hmm. I didn't think, and this is what bothered me.
Somebody was watching those cameras.
Well, I don't even think it was him watching it. I think whoever had the balls to park in my spot filed a complaint with someone and like said like, yeah, dude, this person vandalized my car.
Oh, wow.
And threw food on it. And he's like, nah, man, but I got you because you're cool with me. And that's when I learned, always be cool with the security guard.
Yeah, dude, I have this thing where I think my ancestors were security guards or something. Because when I was younger and I used to go to clubs and bars, like I wasn't in the bar or club. I was hanging out with the security guards. Because not for 2 reasons. They always have like cool stories.
They do.
Another reason is because it was so damn hot in the bars and the clubs.
At the fucking place in Alhambra.
I'm a sweaty person. Like
you are a sweaty gal.
So I'm just like, I'm gonna chill out here and I'm gonna talk to the
security guards are cool ass people. Yeah.
They're chill.
Shout out my security guard, Gil. I love you. Thanks for not. By the way, that's a misdemeanor.
To what?
To throw food on a parked car. That's a misdemeanor.
Oh, okay.
So if anyone listens to this, you're not ratting me out. Thank you. The statute of limitations is 3 years.
For throwing food?
Yes.
That's so silly.
But also we're in LA, so you can get away with anything, you know.
I mean, yeah. Nobody's gonna.
This is a lawless society.
For real. One time there was this guy in Chinatown, actually right here on Broadway.
Yeah, we're recording this, by the way. Just want to give the audience a lay of the land. We're in Chinatown right now.
A lay of the land. So I was going to park in this space. Some dumbass guy in like some nice car. You know that when that happens where it's like that Seinfeld episode, someone's backing into the parking and someone's driving into it. Have you seen that episode?
Yeah. I think I've seen it,
It's with George and he doesn't want to like let it go.
Oh, yeah.
And that was basically what happened, except this guy just like went in and he took the space that I was already trying to get into.
Right.
And he pissed me off. I like honked and I flipped him off and everything. And I was like, well, what else am I going to do? Luckily, I made a U-turn on Broadway and somebody was leaving, probably a couple cars away from that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I parked there and we're getting out of the car because we were going to go, like, I think it's like the Melody Lounge or something.
Oh, yeah. Shout out Melody Lounge.
And we were going there and I grabbed my sunblock because I have sunblock like in my car, and I just fucking put it all over his windshield when he left, and I smeared it in the front.
We do both have ADHD.
Because like I just have like weird road rage where like
I want to elaborate on that.
My road rage or your road
rage?
Like,
you what's the worst thing you've ever done
upset.
To like...
You're always like smiling when you're driving.
What's the worst thing you've done like out on the road, like road rage stuff?
I mean, I flip people off a lot, and I play games with guys that have trucks and they get upset when I cut them off, right? A guy in a truck, he gets so upset when you cut him off. Like any guy in a big ass truck who probably has like a small dick is going to get upset when a girl or anybody cuts them off in their big ass truck. It's like they take it like personally.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've flipped plenty of men off in trucks, and then not only that, I'll cut them off, then they'll cut me off because they need to show that like they have that power. Yeah. So they cut me off, and then I go on side of them, and then I cut them off, and I'm playing these games with these men, and then I'm like laughing at them and pointing like a finger like that they're pissed. And I've had encounters, not like like face to face, but where they like get so mad that they end up laughing too, and then
it's fun, and then it's like, yeah, we hated each other.
I'm just like, you got that far, like you let it get this far. And it's funny to me, but there have been times where like some other guys will be like really pissed off. It's usually a guy. I'm not gonna lie though, I've had some women throw cups of ice at my car too.
No fucking way. Really? By the way, can I cuss on this?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Why does everybody ask that?
I don't know, maybe this is like
a censored podcast.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Family friendly.
Yeah,
I'm curious as to why people ask that, because is it supposed to not have, like, you can't cuss? I
thought, like, it was family.
Is that
friendly.
How, like, podcasts
I thought this was a Christian podcast.
Don't most podcasts, like...
Some of them don't. Some of them don't. I don't know if you have a sponsor, dude. That's the thing. We like.
Is that what happens when you get sponsors?
Yeah, like you have to tone it down because, like,
really?
Yeah.
Then I don't want sponsors.
All right. Well, shout out Super A Foods, the sponsor of this episode.
Yes. Eventually they'll be my sponsor.
That's the dream sponsor, Super A Foods. They have great salsa and great tortillas.
Also, turkey carnitas.
I've never tried them. How's their fried chicken?
I've never had their fried chicken.
Super A Foods, Gliselle Park, Highland
you know
Park.
what? They have good chicken tenders.
Okay.
I don't know if that counts as fried chicken, but they have good wedges and chicken tenders.
You know what's annoying about Super A Foods, though, is sometimes they film, like, shows there. Mm-hmm. And I went a few days ago, and I wanted to get some produce, and they were filming, so I just couldn't buy produce.
Isn't that obnoxious about just LA in general? It's like as if Hollywood rules the streets.
Yeah, it's like they don't give a fuck about the people who live here. Like, right? That's literally...
It's like, your street's closed. I don't know how you're going to get in.
Like, they're like, oh, you live in LA? Go fuck yourself. We're filming here.
Yeah, it's like a priority.
Anyway, sorry. We're talking about road rage.
Okay. I thought we were over that conversation.
No, I do want to say that a few times I've gotten into a few instances where, like...
Oh, there was this one time, and I did that on purpose because I wanted to cut you off because...
That's okay.
You like to cut everyone
off. Okay. Yeah. That's me.
There was this one time I flipped off this cholo. Oh wait, no. There's 2 times.
I love how you started off by just saying, "Yeah, I just flip people off."
I just got like triggered right now because this was the one time I probably could have like got killed or got my ass kicked. and it was by a man. He was a cholo, and it was on Glen Ellen.
Was this pre-gentrification Highland Park or
in the process? Actually,
Okay.
it was already bad. It was bad.
So like 2018.
Yeah, probably around that time. The street's super narrow. This guy's like hauling ass in like one of those big like SUVs.
Yeah.
And I'm like coming the opposite direction to go home, and he's going up like towards the freeway.
Yeah.
And I'm like honking at him, and I flipped him off because I was like, fuck you, you need to slow down, man. Like, it's not going to fit both of us.
Yeah, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's pissed. He rolls down his window. He's like, hey, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. This is my hood. This is my fucking street. This and that. I was like, well, you're going to fucking hit me. And I was like cussing at him too.
Yeah.
And he starts to get out of his car. And then,
Ugh.
and like his niece, she was working at McDonald's, which is on Fig, I'm sure. She was going to that one. And she's like, please, please don't like do anything. Just don't say anything. Just drive off, please. Like, my uncle is so drunk right now. And like,
and he's driving,
right?
It's LA for you.
And she's like, please just go. And then I was like, fuck. You know how pissed off that made me, that I was just like, this is not going to end well. I need to just shut up. Yeah. My dad would be so pissed if like he found out about this.
Yeah.
And
you're like right next to your house too. Yeah.
I left. Another time, and this was before that encounter happened.
Mm-hmm. So you didn't learn your lesson the first time. So
no, I'm
like...
saying this other time was before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you had an occurrence beforehand,
yes.
but yet you still like challenged this man on the road.
So this other time, it was on the same fucking street.
That's a really shitty place to drive, by the way. I hate Highland Park. Also, there's like no parking there either, ever on your streets.
And also the hill doesn't have any like bumps, so people are speeding down.
They're rolling down, yeah.
So this girl, Nissan Altima, she's speeding down the fucking street, and I'm like in that Glen Ellen corner.
Yeah.
Trying to make a U-turn. And she's speeding down. I honk at her and flip her off as well.
Okay.
It seems like it's a thing. She's pissed that I flip her off, right?
Yeah.
And I'm on the phone. I just naturally did it while I'm talking to someone on speaker. Like, you know?
You're like, well, how's your day going? You're just, fuck you.
Yeah, like, yeah. And she's pissed. She like is about to get out of her car.
Uh-huh.
My mom's like coming home. She's parked in the driveway.
Shout out your mom.
Shout out to my mom. So my mom, gets into like mama bear mode.
Oh yeah.
And she's like making that face like, who the fuck is gonna come? And I'm on the phone still being all dumb and like not really knowing what's going on, and I'm like laughing, and I'm like, this girl's gonna try to fucking come to my car, whoever I was talking to.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened. Oh, I think that girl had a friend in her car, and that friend was telling her to like go back in, like just to leave.
Yeah. And
I think her friend convinced her to just leave. And
so you narrowly avoided like getting into 2 street fights.
So 2 street fights with like, she looked like a chola ass bitch too. Like she like had the.
You probably wouldn't have been able to like take her. Maybe now because you're kickboxing, but
my mom would have been there to back me up. And
that's
at the
true.
Same
then you
time,
have baby too.
At the same time, one of my friends was living at my house. She was across the street too, so she would have helped me too.
Yeah.
So it would have been like fine.
Have you ever gotten into a fight?
No, I've never been in a fight, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. Just gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna get detailed. I'm not gonna like,
We've had many close encounters.
Yeah, a lot of people would want to kick my ass.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure like half of the listenership right now is just people who want to kick your ass. Yeah. They just listen to this. They're collecting information.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best audience is the haters, right?
Yeah. Fuck it. You have haters, right? Like,
I think.
There's like haters of this podcast.
A lot of people like to talk shit. It's fine. I'm cool with it. Just like don't talk shit about the people that are supporting me or helping me because I don't like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I figured like, I'm gonna get shit talked. It's fine.
Yeah. I once had a road rage incident where like someone was really mad at me because like.
And you know what? Let me just go back.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Because I want to interrupt you again.
Yeah, please. please.
I think this whole episode is just going to be about me.
I think, look, we started off with me saying, I'm just going to hijack this podcast.
Yeah. And I just, like, intentionally keep wanting to.
Yeah, look, the girl has a lot to say. That's why this is a weekly podcast.
So anyway, I totally forgot what I was going to say now.
You said something about road rage.
No.
It's something about haters.
Oh, I was gonna say, and if somebody is like being a hater, I'd invite them on this podcast.
Yeah, please, haters.
If someone wants to roast me or talk shit, like at least like let's do some airtime.
You want a Carlos Mencia, Joe Rogan,
let's do it
style like fight.
Yeah,
for the air.
Do it. I mean, let's talk shit.
Yeah. So anyway, I was going to mention just close off this topic of road rage.
Yeah.
Can
you believe we're already like halfway there? Like it's already halfway done.
The podcast is halfway done.
You're like, I didn't even get to say anything.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Look, our conversations are usually like 5 hours.
Yeah.
So we usually have a lot of time to play with.
Okay.
So I'm not even going to talk about the road rage thing. Let's move on to the next topic.
You got 30 minutes. Go on.
No, I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's not. I mean, just some guy who like, okay, this car was like had his signal on that they were going to turn left into their driveway, but they were stuck there like for 2 minutes, right on the road. Does that make sense? So like, I'm here, the car's in front of me. They have their blinker on. But they're like stuck in the lane.
Right.
So I'm like, this motherfucker's never going to move. Let me maneuver around him.
Yeah.
And so I put my blinker on and I maneuver around him. And right when I'm like maneuvering around him is when he decides, oh, I'm finally going to go left, right?
Yeah.
We narrowly avoid each other. And then he follows me home. Like he follows me.
Followed you home?
Yeah. I get out of my car and we have a face-to-face confrontation.
Yeah.
And I call him a cunt. And that just lights him up.
Yeah,
you know?
You can't call a guy a cunt. Any guy's going to be like, I'm not a cunt.
But see, word to the wise. If you really want to upset someone, just call him a cunt. I don't know why it's like people get so upset when you call him a cunt. I don't know. But anyway, I think like I ended up just laughing because that's what I also do when I'm like in a weird situation and like the situation diffused. But yeah, that's like the worst road rage. How did
you diffuse that situation?
I don't know. Like I called him a cunt and then we just stared at each other. But the thing is like I was going to let him hit me first if this was the case because I could probably like get a few punches in.
Yeah.
You know, that's the key. You got to let them hit you first. Then you're not in trouble. You're just self-defending yourself.
Yeah. You got to see what they got. So what did you think about Donald Trump's mugshot?
You know how I feel about my boy Donnie. Free Donnie.
Because you've been dying to talk about this. You asked me to tell you, can we talk about the mugshot? Can I say?
Dude, that mugshot is crazy. Yeah. But also I think it's funny that there were a few like Republicans that felt like they didn't get in trouble, right? They didn't get charged, but they felt like they were left out from like getting a mugshot, so they photoshopped their own pictures into the mugshot. So that way they could also be like, hey, here's my mugshot.
Yeah.
So I think it's just trendy to get one of those mugshots now.
Do you want to go to jail and get a mugshot?
No.
Because you like Donald Trump?
It's not that I like him.
Okay. Clear your name.
I'm just gonna say this: if you were president, wouldn't you want to stay president? Isn't that like just natural that you would want to stay in power? And like, if you had an army of people that would rile themselves up to like keep you president,
There has been a few presidents that are like, I'm not good at this. I'm gonna step down, right? Right?
I don't know. Jimmy Carter?
I feel like there was at least one
Hmm.
that was like, nah,
I'm not.
this isn't
I
for
don't know shit
me.
about U.S. history.
Yeah, none of us do.
So why don't we tell people how we met? Because I think our origin story is always fun.
Nah.
All right.
I specifically told you, let's not talk about that.
I specifically mentioned it because he told me not to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm cutting it out.
All right, cool.
Or not, because I like bloopers.
Yeah.
So, okay. You got through the vandalism story because you were really excited about talking about
Was
that.
it a good story?
I
Not that
mean,
good, huh?
it was good. And honestly, I'm not going to lie. It was actually, it picked it up when the security guard said that he knows what you did. That was a little bit like,
But it was a little bit of
that's-
an overhype.
That's funny.
It was a little bit of an
Yeah.
overhype.
It was a good story. So,
Cool,
it's fine.
thank you.
Let's talk about our events. I feel like that's fun.
In case you didn't know, we had a prior life where we were event promoters.
Right.
Yeah.
Wildcard Productions, rest in peace.
Wildcard Productions. Although you kept the handle, Alexis Wildcard.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I also had that handle prior to Wildcard Productions.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No.
Yes,
we
I
came up
did.
with the name Wildcard.
No,
and
my
then-
name was already Alexis
No,
Wildcard.
we named Wildcard Productions
Bet.
first,
Bet.
and then
Bet.
you changed your name.
Bet.
I'll bet you $1 million, dude.
I'll send my Venmo request. You know I have receipts for everything.
See, I shouldn't have actually said that because you do have receipts for everything. Yeah.
And I have all the emails that Instagram sends me.
You don't delete shit.
When you change your handle and your name. And
You have it all documented.
so, yes, let's talk about Wildcard Productions, which actually wasn't even necessary.
Remember when we
Didn't even
filed
need a
like
name of
this
a
is actually
production.
something I was talking about with my one of our DJs on my radio station,
Oh.
Hetty.fm.
Shout out.
Shout out. Make sure you listen my radio station. I can talk about it another time. But we were talking about how once we filed a nonprofit
Right.
and we got like a bank account.
Yes.
We had a credit card.
It's pretty wild because yeah, I don't know what, dude. You were just like, dude, we gotta do this. We
I don't know why
gotta
we
make
did that.
a bank account.
We went to a Chase. Like it was a real business. We go to Chase. By the way, it's not like we were ever making any money off of these
To be
events.
fair, it was gonna be a real business, only for the reason that we were working with nonprofits. That's why we needed like a business account or
I
something.
think it was before we actually worked with Let's Give because we needed to figure out how we could get like donations.
right,
and stuff.
which is
yeah.
why we needed the bank account or something. Let's just go with that.
Yeah. But it was funny
Less-
when we went to Chase
Less
like together.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
See, I knew he was gonna do that. He's gonna knock it over.
No, he'll be fine, dude.
Okay, so we open up a bank account, and this was probably what, like the first event or the second?
This was the second.
yeah, right. The second.
Yeah.
How
How did all this start? Like, why did we decide to do events?
So let's talk about that because my reasoning was there's a lot of gatekeepers in the music and entertainment industry in general.
Mm-hmm.
We really liked events. I really liked festivals and shows, and you did too.
And then you did events beforehand too, like art shows.
Yeah, but not really. Like, I wouldn't say it was like on our level of like events.
Yeah, we did some crazy shit.
And so my frustration was that I wanted to be more involved and hands-on, and nobody was giving me the opportunity.
Right.
It was a lot of people just like I said, gatekeeping onto these jobs and roles, and it was kind of frustrating. And you wanted to do something big, and I think that's just kind of what happened.
I know.
What would you say your reasoning was?
I mean, I like look back and I laugh at myself sometimes because I think for the first event we were like, yeah, we got 4,000 people to show up. I didn't even know how hard that was to get. And we're like, yeah, we're going to get Chicano Batman to play. Like, little did I know their booking fee was $100,000.
Let me just be clear, because I feel like you're throwing me under that bus with you, and I totally did not want or expect even close to 4,000 people.
No, so here's the thing. But I'm a dreamer. You're more reasonable. You were like, yeah, let's do something small. And I was like, no, we're going big.
It's easy.
It's easy. We'll rally the community together.
And you kept saying how easy it was. And I was like, all right, this guy knows what he's talking about.
But I didn't know shit.
And yeah, we both didn't know shit. And so that is what happened. And I'm just going to do a little joke here because it was funny. You said we were going to get Demi Lovato. You said it's
Selena. Correction, Selena Gomez.
No, I have the email where you said Selena Gomez and Demi Lovato.
Damn.
That shit was hilarious. I was like, why? Like, no, that's not gonna happen.
I mean, we were also, I want to add this, is that at the time, it was like when Trump like went into office and we were like, yeah, there's so many people that we know that have like DACA that are going to be like affected by this. And, you know, let's bring the community together. Let's bring Latinos together.
Well, that was
so wouldn't Selena Gomez show up for us?
No, because Selena wasn't heavily involved in her Mexican culture
until now.
Until recently.
Now she's like singing in Spanish.
Yeah. So yeah,
just because it's trendy.
There was a lot of components in these events. I think you too, like, just it's been about like bringing people together.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool. And we kind of intertwined things. So it was DACA, like for some, you know, obviously because I used to live in Highland Park. And
you'll always be a Highland Park girl, though.
So, you know, the gentrification thing, it's obviously it's like crazy now. There's no like turning back.
It's cringe.
But that was still like somehow like intertwined with like DACA, gentrification, and like causes that are going on, you know, around us in our community. And you and I both like music and like creative things, so like we were able to kind of intertwine all of that together, which is cool.
And we had a killer lineup the first year.
Omar Apollo, shout out! You gotta remember us someday. I still have the set list. The set times, it's on a paper, and it says Brain Story was the headliner, and then then below Brain Story was Omar Apollo.
Wow.
And then it was like
Temporex or whatever,
and then it was Hannah Vu.
She's pretty big too.
Yeah,
she's a pretty big indie star.
Still going. Yeah. So I still have that set list time.
Wow. And that's a fucking memento, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah. Do you have any of the posters still?
I don't think I do. It may be at my parents' house, but no. For what
I don't have. The only thing like I have from those events are just like the plaques that they would give us.
You're like, yay, another plaque from Gil Cedillo.
Shout out Gil. Yeah, I mean, people hate him, but he always helped us out. So
that was one thing when all that scandal was going on that I was like thinking about. I was like, I feel a little conflicted because out of all the, you know, council members, we did reach out to a few.
We did, yeah.
And actually, none of them got back to us, like ever. None of them, not even like emailing us back. And Gil Cedillo did.
Yeah, and he
Which
really supported. Like
he
he
did.
did support us,
He
and
did.
he thought you were. He told us once. He's like, Alexis right there. She's the future.
You always say that.
He said that. He really said that.
Yeah, it's just like very conflicting, right? Because
Yeah, and also his staff, his staff, Alfonso.
Besides Alfonso,
Alfonso was such a sweetheart, and like I remember he like showed up at one of our events.
Yeah,
the second one.
He like gave us the plaques. And
yeah,
stuff.
dude,
Yeah.
he was such a cool guy, cool. And like
the other staff, I didn't really care for.
Yeah, the other staff, yeah. Anyway, let's keep going.
But
now people are gonna say, "Oh, they're Gil Cedillo supporters." It's like, no, dude. When somebody like helps you out in life,
yeah,
like you're gonna appreciate that. This was like before all that shit went down, you know. And like he has a history of like being a like Latino like activist.
Yes, he does, and he worked. I'm not even gonna say where he, his history, because I'm not.
Yeah, we don't like him
affiliated with him, but it was a cool thing that he did support us. That's all, and we can leave it at that.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't have to go further than that, and that's the problem with a lot of things now is that, and it's not that I'm like I know I could probably sound like a hypocrite too, but it's also. Not that Gil Cedillo is an artist, but it kind of falls into this argument of like separating the artist from the art.
Yeah.
And, there was this one-time thing or two-time thing where he helped us out, and we're grateful for that. And that's it.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, at the time, no one else was helping us out too. So it's like when somebody helps you, it's appreciated.
Yeah, and it's not like we're out here supporting him or justifying anything he said.
No, all politicians are fucking dumb.
But yeah, it's just like, I think now, like, you look back on things and you're just like, for me at least, it's hard to separate the art from the artist. Yeah. Right? Because especially when all these scandals happen, you're kind of like, fuck, but they were remember, this is a perfect example. Remember Undocumedia? Oh my god, your laugh is so exaggerated. Oh my god. Okay, so remember that.
Dude, Undocumedia, what a throwback, man.
Right? Shit. So what happened was there was two guys involved in Undocumedia. Yeah. Right?
Ivan and...
Wasn't one of them at our event?
They were both at our event at some point.
Oh, shit. No way.
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
Yeah. Because Javier was friends with one of them. And then...
They were both...
Somehow, dude, we got all of Undocumedia to show up. Oh, we were ballers, and we got Univision to show up at the first one.
Yeah. So what happened was there was two co-founders of Undocumedia.
Yeah.
And one of them was just a little more talkative, and he was a little more out there than the other.
Yeah.
And he started getting in trouble because he was...
a cochino, I think.
Yeah, he was being like a perv to some of the people that were working alongside him, or that were part of like his
like he used his position to like try to like get with girls and stuff like that. Yeah,
he definitely was like in a position of power, and he used that to his advantage. And it's very conflicting in that situation because he was also a very good activist and spokesperson. He spoke pretty well too.
Dude, he debated Tucker Carlson on Fox News.
Dude, he like had so much passion in what he was fighting for, right?
Yeah.
And that we all saw it, and that's why we even wanted him involved, because of like that passion that he was getting people hyped. He was getting people going. He was just like about it. Yeah. And he was undocumented too.
Yeah.
And it's conflicting, right? Because he was fighting for this like cause that was like this great cause that, people need to get more behind, and there needs to be more traction behind it so people can support it. And he was doing that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he was also being, a cochino. and he was taking advantage of women in that sense, where like
Yeah.
using his position of power. And that's where it's like hard to separate things sometimes, you know?
And the sad thing is that it derailed all the important work that they did,
Yeah.
you know,
And it's all
because
done.
this one man decided to like use his position of power to like, I don't know, try to get with the girl. And it's
Yeah.
like, dude, come on.
Yeah, this isn't the fucking 60s anymore, you know? Because, like, you heard about, like, Martin Luther King, right, being, like, a womanizer and stuff.
Oh, I never heard about that.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
he was.
He was.
Makes
But
sense.
it's like, he was this great, like, revolutionary that,
Right.
especially at the times, like, being a womanizer, everyone cheats on their wife in the 60s, 70s,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, 50s, 40s, all of it. So it was like, you know, nobody cared about it.
Right.
It wasn't
right.
that big of a deal because he did so much more good
Yeah.
than what he was also doing, I guess.
But also, I think this Undocumedia stuff happened like with the Me Too movement.
Right?
So it kind of like,
Oof.
yeah.
It's crazy. We only have 10 more minutes.
We've talked about two things.
That is true.
We've talked about two topics in 50 minutes.
Yeah, crazy.
Crazy.
ADHD, huh?
Yeah, there you go.
I
kind of expected it to go this way.
Yeah.
I was like, it's either going to be a 3-hour podcast, which I know you would never release, or it's going to be us talking about like one thing for. And we were talking about events. We didn't end up like talking about it. Like we didn't finish the story about our events.
So we got to like the cusp of like the starting phase of our events a little bit. What was your experience like reaching out to people?
Like in what regards? Like everything. Reaching out to artists?
Because we reached out to fucking everybody.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. Like to even put together what we did, like. Yeah. But also, it's like, damn, dude, you're the only person that I know. Like we were so good at doing it together. Like there was only us. Like we would only be able to do that because, like, you know, we don't give up on ourselves, and like. Even though
it's the ADHD,
it's the ADHD, but like, you know, we would get the door shut on us by so many people, and like not just artists, but like people to get involved and stuff like that. And
exactly,
like, you know, we still eked something out at the end of the day,
and it was pretty good.
And we helped people. We like made some money for like some organizations, maybe not as much as like we would have liked. But we kept it real the whole time. Like we never charged more than $15 for a ticket.
Yeah.
Like how many fundraisers do you go to where you're not going to be spending more than $15?
And it was fun. You got a concert.
That was the whole point.
You got free cake.
We always hooked it up
with the cake.
Like remember the second year, everyone got to take photos at the photo booth, and they got to take home like the physical photo.
Yeah.
And then we had like Topo Chico there, and they were giving out free Topo Chico. And like we had the taco guys there, and like they were selling tacos for like $1.
Yeah.
Like how many events do you go to that is like
so reasonable?
But it's because you always said, I want this event to be something that I would want to go to.
Yeah.
And you're cheap, and you know, like. When would you ever want to spend more than $15 on a ticket to support a charity, you know?
That is true. I remember saying that. I was like, dude, that's the cutoff. I never want to spend, if it's going to be like a charity with like local bands, I don't think it should be more than fucking $18, $16 even. I think we had
$18 for you was too much.
That was way too much.
That was way too much.
No.
Yeah. But
that's
like
true.
the first one was $12.
I remember 15 being like, all right.
Yeah, but the first one we charged $12 because you were like, no, $12 is a good. No,
number.
You can't even wipe your ass for $12. Like we can't do that. Like if we try to do that again nowadays, it's impossible. You just can't do it.
That's true. These are some things that I forget. Like I don't remember the prices of things. There's so much going on that like I can't remember all this shit that was there.
Yeah, like I always push like, dude, we should just charge 20. You're like, no, we can't charge more than 15. We got into some fights about that shit, dude. I don't know if you remember.
Community event.
But that was like what was special about it.
That was the point though, right?
Yeah.
Like it was affordable. It was for the people, by the people.
Great bands.
Like FUBU.
Shout out Damon John, even though he's a terrible shark on Shark Tank.
I heard people have been suing him.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what I loved about our events, was that it was like always so much fun, and we always had free cake.
That's true. It was always
so the first year, where did we get the cake from? Do you remember?
Are you testing me?
I am.
Delicias.
Okay, second year.
Delicias. No, second year was Homeboy, and then the third year or third time was Delicias again.
So Homeboy made the best cake we've ever had.
Best fucking cake. It's never gonna. I still think about it. Best fucking tres leches ever.
Yeah. So shout out Homeboy Bakery.
Shout out to Homeboy Bakery for hooking it up.
And see, that's what I mean by like people came together to support us because they gave us a free cake.
Yeah.
Like, who does that?
That's why it's like, be grateful for the people that are gonna help you and support you, even when you're nobody. Because we were nobody.
Yeah.
We were a bunch of nobodies, and that's why a lot of the people to like, you know, this DJ group of women, like they didn't want to be a part of us unless we were cool or we were like, you know, gonna give them something in return.
Yeah, and
I'm not saying money, because we did offer money.
Yeah.
So that wasn't the thing. It's just that we weren't cool enough, and we weren't able to hook them up with other industry people, I guess.
Yeah, like we kept it true. It was a good time. Everyone who went to the event always had a good time, and like people still talk about them. Like, not gonna lie, like a year ago, I saw someone on Instagram post a photo from like a Quince Night.
Cute.
And they're like, I wish it was Quince Night again.
Oh, that makes me sad.
So here's the thing, we're never gonna do it again.
Yeah. We've made that very clear.
We've made that very, like, if you're listening because you're like, oh, maybe they're gonna do one again, no.
There's like nobody
there's
that's like,
no
maybe there's
no
like somebody
chance.
that's just like one day is like, I hope they do this again.
And maybe your mom.
My mom?
Yeah, maybe your mom wants another Quince Night to happen.
My mom? Why would my mom? She hated that shit.
I thought she liked them. I don't know.
She supported me and she loves me, but she would see how like stressed out I would be sometimes. She's like, I mean, how is this gonna be over? I'm like, I know.
I mean, part of the stress was me, but
yeah. No, she did like the events. She always had fun at them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, I know your mom had fun at our events.
She did.
Yeah.
A lot of
Everyone
people
had fun.
Yeah.
Especially the last one.
Except me.
The last one, I remember my sister like slipped on some, because it like, dude, people were drinking a lot at the third one, and they spilled
the mosh pit.
That was my biggest dream. Was I hope one year at a Quince Night we have a mosh pit, and that was the last year.
It's funny because like the last year, not saying I didn't have fun. I had fun planning it and meeting all these people and things like that. I did. I am grateful for it. It was a great experience. It's still fun and memorable in my memory.
And we both learned a lot like, that we still use like every day. Yeah.
It's just that, especially the last one, I think you and I were fighting.
Yeah.
And
what a surprise.
And you were fucking sliding around in the mosh pit, and I was like in charge of the money, and I was like, fuck him. I like could not drink or like loosen up, and I was just like having to be in charge.
So here's my defense, because I do have something to say about that.
Okay. We
worked so hard on those events, and I never got to enjoy any of it.
Me neither.
And I was like, okay, I kind of knew it was going to be the last one.
Our events looked like fun every time.
But I was like, okay, this is the last one we're doing. Like, even though I was dumb when we talked at the last one and I said, we'll see you all next year.
You said that?
I said that, even though I knew it was like going to be the last one.
Yeah.
But I knew it was the last one, and I was like, okay, I just want to enjoy like a few songs from E Arenas.
Oh yeah, he fucking killed it. Oh my god, it was fun. Even though I didn't get to like dance or like do anything, like it was fun watching him perform. It was so much fun.
Yeah, and so that was the most memorable one because I actually got to like enjoy some of it.
And I would say like that was the most like well curated lineup that we had.
Oh yeah, and then
know?
like the Altons, the Sinceres, they're
Yeah.
big now.
Yeah.
Harina de Marco's always been like a really big artist in the Latinx
Community
scene, and our dream.
Shout out to Earth Arrow. Damn.
We should talk about the bands who didn't like.
We really, I don't know. Just want to say I'm sorry.
We booked them like 5 times, and we
Yes.
never followed through.
It was our bad too. It wasn't even them. They were like so down for it.
We also booked Abby Buffalo once, who was like a very popular indie rock artist from like the
right, but then
2000s.
But a notorious Latinx female manager, she cut him from the set list. So.
We booked quite a few artists, dude.
The lineup, sorry.
Yeah.
There's all these like proper terms that you have to use.
We booked Weapons of Mass Creation.
They were pretty cool.
But we had to drop them because they didn't know that they like signed a radius clause for like a show.
Oh, that happened, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, they're pretty big now too.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest artist we definitely got for that thing was Omar.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I saw him one time at like a NFT event, and I was just like, I'm not gonna say. Right? Like, why would I say something like him? Did you interact with him?
No.
Right?
And also, he's like very gay, and I love
what does
how
that have to do with
no. There's not something to do with it.
He's
So
very
everyone,
gay,
so there was 2 girls at the first Quince Night.
Dude, oh my god, that's why I'm like, he's so gay, but like at our event, he was very straight.
It's trendy to be gay now.
It
so,
is.
so-
That's interesting that you like said that though, because it is, and a lot of people don't want to admit that it is trendy.
Oh, it
to be
is so
gay.
trendy to be gay.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was like a few girls at the first one who were like, Omar like totally is checking me out or flirting with me.
I saw Omar, like Apollo, just running around the fucking venue with 2 girls. And I was just like, he's a player. Like, you know.
Yeah. And also he wore like this poncho. I don't know if he was trying to be Mexican or like trying to make fun of Mexicans. But hey.
So I interacted with him maybe like just like a handful of times throughout that event.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing like a conversation or anything.
No.
And it was just like, okay, you're going to be on at this time. And like, you're going to be, you know, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, just like really brief small talk. But yeah, so when I saw him at the event, the NFT event, Jesse was like, he's like, oh, go say hi to Omar Apollo.
Like, how the hell?
I was like, yeah, right. You don't fucking know who I am.
I think most of those artists, like, from that event, like...
They're going to be like, who?
They don't remember us. I will say, though, I do just want to say this. Like, I'm so thankful that we got to work with so many of these people and that they gave us their time. And even someone like Eduardo and his wife was amazing.
Yeah,
and
Lorena.
Lorena. I knew her name, okay?
Shout out to her.
Shout out to her. Shout out to Peanut Butter Wolf and Erica.
Erica.
Yeah, she gave you a free like counseling session once.
She was raffling those off.
Yeah, that's true.
So she was really cool.
So
she also raffled off painting.
Yeah.
She's an artist.
Wait, I want to talk quickly about the visual art because I think that's like one of the most overlooked elements of that event.
I like how you use the word elements. I think that's a good word to use. Yeah.
Okay. Like, if you remember, the second event, I think, was one of the most impressive things that...
It was my favorite. Yes, it had all the elements that I wanted in an event. It just wasn't... What would you say what was missing? Because I would say
people.
It's such... I would say
it was a very poorly attended event.
It was such a big venue that it looked like it was also poorly attended.
I know.
Because there were people in the gallery and there was people outside by the stage, and then there was people like just everywhere else.
And then also we could only serve
and then
beer
you were locked
at the beer.
in the kitchen.
I think about that all the time. So you know that story you talked about like earlier today about your like resident or whatever, like that couldn't open the door? That was essentially what happened when I got locked in the kitchen, because like Gabriel literally just pulled the door and just gave me the most smug look that Gabriel would give, you know?
Shout out to
Gabriel.
It's like all shout outs here today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the people were missing, but also not so much, because I would say we actually still did have a pretty good outcome. It was just a huge venue.
Yeah. But it was so cool, the second one, because we had so much art.
Yes.
Like for sale, and people
That's what I
art.
really like too, is just like coordinating the art gallery and like helping with it.
Yeah.
It was just really cool. I got to meet Amelia Cruz, who is like super fantastic, and she's amazing.
And now she was like in an episode of Vida.
No,
like...
it was Hentified.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the one where I felt like, damn, like that was beautiful.
Yeah,
it really was
super cool. We had the Selena impersonator.
Shout out Monica. Like, dude, she would always show up for us.
Yeah,
you know.
Cool.
So like,
she did that twice, right?
She did it twice for us, and like she just brought.
She did it at the last event, right?
Yeah, she did.
She killed it.
And then,
and the first, like the second one too.
Yeah. So like, it was just something that I'm like always so proud of when I think about it, and I'm so glad we got to share that experience together. You know.
Yeah, that was cool.
Maybe we should wrap up, huh?
Probably.
Yeah.
Do you have any last things to say?
Yeah. If you would like to check out my radio station that I run. I was
going to say about the event, but
I thought we were doing plugs.
Okay, do your plugs.
Heady.fm, that's HEADY.fm, extraterrestrial radio. It's 24/7 stream of modern psychedelic and experimental music. So like King Gizzard, Tame Impala, a lot of different stuff on there. We have different shows. You can check out the website, and you can see the schedule there. So it's something I'm very proud about.
Any other shout outs? Shout out to Kobe.
Shout out to my nephew that I love so much.
Shout out Kobe.
Kobe the Sad Boy, at Kobe the Sad Boy on Instagram. And dude, shout out to you.
Shout out to me.
Because like, yeah, even though we always have like our shit from time to time, like I always, love you so much, and you're family to me. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for being on the pod.
All right.
See you.
See ya.